number one question I get in my DMs and emails, text from people that are in the Rhino Tribe, students in TTP in the Rhino Tribe, is what is working right now? What is working? And the answer is always the same. Working is working. Working is working. And what that really comes down to is two things, guys, is having conversations and making offers. It should be in front of you at all times. Conversations and offers. I should have a t-shirt that says conversations and offers that I give out to everybody here that is watching this show and on this YouTube channel. Conversations and offers. And how do you have, and I wrote all my notes here. It's going to be an absolute opening segment to the show here. How do you get better at conversations and making offers? You run plays that actually work. All right. I want you to imagine, not even imagine, we've all watched the NFL. We've all seen these football games, and we see on the sidelines, the coaches have these plays. They have these laminated cards that have plays that actually work. They're not running out there and playing backyard football where everybody scatters, they run around, and somebody just throws the ball up. All right. And I don't care if you're into sports or not into sports. Imagine it's a piano or playing music or whatever else. You don't just get on there and bang things out. You follow plays that work. All right. So I ask you, think about the things in your business. All right. Think about the things in your business. Do you have plays for your evening routine? Do you have plays for your morning routine? Do you have plays for your morning business routine? Do you have plays that work for your lead generation, for your pre-qualifying, for your lead follow-up? Do you have plays that work for your offer presentation? Do you have plays that work for your negotiations? Do you have plays that work for your comping of properties to understand the value of these properties? Do you have plays that work for your cash buyers, getting the absolute best ones and negotiating with them so that you can get the most out of every single deal? In an environment like you and I are in, time is our greatest asset. And no, I'm not even going to ask the question. I'm going to just make a statement. We cannot afford to run plays that don't work. We cannot afford to just go out there and just do whatever we want every single day. And it is hard because we're entrepreneurs. There is something hardwired in us that says, I don't want to do the same thing every day. I want to live an exciting life. But let me tell you this. The entrepreneurs that make it in this business fall in love with the mundane. They fall in love with the plays that they practice over and over and over because they know when they run this play, it actually works. It actually works. It's predictable. I got it right here. It's predictable. It's scalable. You know, when you talk to distressed property owners, when you make offers, when you have conversations with real estate agents, you find opportunities. Then why are we getting pulled away by shiny objects? Why are we not documenting it? I know it's boring, but why aren't we sitting down and being professional and look at the things that actually work on a daily basis and just follow that play? Now, if that play stops working, then you make adjustments. But there are fundamentals in this business, fundamentals that if you run the plays right, you absolutely win. And then it's just the level of how much you win. So stop going out there and being an amateur and just doing whatever you want throughout the day. Because working works. That's the number one thing. Running the plays works. Thinking does not work. Voyeurism, where you're just watching everybody do other things, doesn't work. Overeducating doesn't work. Running the plays that you understand and putting intention. I got it right here. I got it lined right here. Put intention about the little details of your plays and you will win. Stop making shit up. Stop making it up. Stop running things and filtering things through your your own perception, your own unqualified experience. That's called ego. Stop it. Just look at the things that are working and keep doing that. You don't have to be brilliant. The dumbest people make the most money in this business. And I don't mean like intellectually. I'm just saying the people that understand the plays that work over and over and over and consistently do that over and over and over, that's who wins big time. That's who takes it to the next level. And by the way, just to kind of promote this, because I really want you there, it's going to be absolutely bananas. Growth Summit 2023. We're going to have it April 15th and 16th. I'm going to be giving out the 10 top plays to implement into your business. You cannot miss this. Growth Summit 2023. We have early bird specials right now. We're going to be at the top 10 plays for lead generation so that you can pull in deals right now this year. You cannot miss this. Growth Summit 2023. So let me get into what happens. Let me show you what happens when you actually run plays, and let me show you what some of the results are. All right, we're going to do 5 quick case studies. These are deals that we closed, within the last 12 months. I told my team to send me ones that have really good stories or whatever else to kind of give an idea. And a lot of these you're going to notice aren't pure wholesale. A lot of these we closed on and resold for huge profits, but don't get distracted by this. When you're starting out, until you have a big, healthy, heavy bank account, I mean, we've got $1 million sitting there to be able to close any deal, right? So some of these we close on to really take it to the next level. But in your first 12 months, you wholesale everything. Wholesale everything. Assign everything. Build up your bank account, and then it's going to give you more flexibility to do some of these amazing deals. Number 1 case study. Pop it up. Here we go. Here's the address. And I'll pull it up here on Zillow. I've got it here. This one's on Hilton. Lead generation. This was a cold call. This came from our cold caller, Fran. This list was the tax default list. All right. We got this tax default list from Batch Leads, or you can go to rhinolists.com. But we got the tax default list. Motivation. And people always wonder, why do people sell at a discount? Why do people actually go and just, sell this thing and not put it on the market and not, clean these properties up? And why would people trade price for speed and convenience? James and Tina were living there with their daughter and their grandkids. They were getting older, wanted to downsize. They actually bought another home in Gold Canyon that was closing, and they wanted to sell to an investor because the house was really, really, really messy. All right. It was the dogs had kind of chewed on a lot of the drywall and a lot of the trim. The floors were totally beat up. There was holes in all the doors. It was a mess. They just just wanted to get rid of this property as quick as possible. All right. From the time that we talked to them, first call, to the time that we closed was 4 months, 120 days. We bought it, we closed on it, and we sold it. We made $91,288. And right here, pull this up, Matt, if you can go to the actual thing here. You can see this is what the property looks like now. What happened was they actually were going to flip this property, which is really interesting. If you look at what's going on here in the price and tax history, they bought it for the $365. Right. We got it for $272 and some change. And then they listed it for sale 7 months later after really cleaning it up, making it look great. But by that time, the market had shifted. So they actually tried. They kept reducing. They reduced to $50,000, couldn't sell it. And then they rented it out. So a lot of the buyers that are doing these fix and flips that were really counting on the market going up and up and up ended up putting this into their portfolio. All right. Let's go to number 2. Number 2, this one's on Norby. This is great. This is in Sedona. Guys, if you have never been to Sedona, it's one of the most magical, beautiful places on planet Earth. Definitely put it on your bucket list, but this one took forever. This is another cold call. This is a list called Audantic, and I'm going to pull those guys up so you know who that is. They're data scientists out of Seattle. Gary was an older guy. We had to mail him. He didn't have email. He wanted us to mail a lot of things. Sedona's 2 hours away from Phoenix. He never would give us a price. price. He would never get us a price. And then he said he would sell it for 90 to 100,000. And then we got it right in the middle at 95,000 and locked it up. We actually had to drive out there. We had to do the presentation in person. Now, typically Ryan, my closer, goes, but there was such a rapport built with Chad, my junior acquisition manager, that he went out there, absolutely crushed it, got the contract signed. We closed on it. We then sold it to a buddy of ours that's going to build an incredible house out there in Sedona. We made $122,000 on that deal. I'll show you it here.
Who bought that?
Here it is. Spencer Caldwell.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's buying one from me right now.
Well, he buys everything. I got to have Spencer on here. He's done 25,000 wholesale
100%,
deals.
100%.
He's the top. He's done. Yeah, it's bananas.
Wow.
I had no idea it was that high.
Yeah.
I had no idea it was that high. Anyway, so there's that property there. You can see that. Let's see here. There we are. 99, sold it for 215. There you go. Boom. And actually we got it for 95. So I'm not sure why it showed at 99, but proof is in the pudding, guys. Right. So there you go. There's another one. So Audantic, real quick, Matt, if you'll go back here, Audantic, they are data scientists. They are at audantic.com. They're phenomenal guys, but they have limited areas. What they do is really interesting. They go in and they find all of the cash sales. They figure out what buyers are buying, and then they match it up with the trends of a profile of what those sellers look like, which is really interesting. It's like $30K a year for this list, and they have limited in each market. And we've been fortunate to be able to have that. Now, honestly, I mean, we've obviously made our money back on it, but from a amount of deals perspective, it's not more than driving for dollars. It's not, but it's interesting. It's an interesting list, and we keep investing into it.
You probably made more driving for dollars.
Yeah. Well, we make more every year from driving for dollars for sure. Yeah. But Audantic, we hit like a deal every couple months, and it's like $100,000 or something. Yeah. Right. So there you go. All right. Next. This is fun. I really like this one. This is a whole different one. This is on Glendale. All right. This generation was a text message that we used with launch control. They called us back, so we got a voicemail off of a text message. This list was tired landlords, guys. A very basic list, right? They've owned it for over 7 years. The property's built before 1992. It's a single family, and it's not listed on the market. And so we pull that list, and boom, we text them, we call them, we do everything we can to get a hold of them. They bought the property super cheap in 2009. It's been a rental with the same tenants. The tenants were moving out. They didn't want to be able to fix this property up. They just wanted to sell it, but they wanted to do it owner finance. So actually now the profit here is $15,000, but we did a seller finance with 5% down, 15-year balloon payment on a 40-year amortization. So the rental payment, I mean, the mortgage payment on is super low. Sold it to somebody that wants to buy in there. Now people ask me, Brent, that's such a great property to add to your rental portfolio. It's not for me. The reason I don't want to add that to my rental portfolio is because it's going to be a huge distraction. I'd rather make the $15,000, keep going with my team, and focus on if I'm going to buy properties, rental properties in the area, either I'm going to buy a really big property or I'm going to buy properties that are in the absolute best school districts, and this one isn't. So that's why I wholesaled it. And I wholesale sub-twos, I wholesale owner finance, I wholesale everything.
When you see a really big property, you're talking like commercial?
Commercial. Well, I mean, listen, multifamily over 4 units is commercial.
Cool.
Right?
Yep.
So
not like a mansion.
Well, not 4, but once it gets up there. Yeah. Okay, next. Third case. Guys, put comments in the comments section if you want me to nitpick this a little bit more, or if you're getting value out of this. And obviously, if you're getting value out of this, make sure that you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. It's right there. Subscribe to the channel. We come out with absolutely incredible instruction every single day. And I say that not humbly. I am telling you, there's not a better channel that's going to get you to your deals faster than this channel right now, without a doubt. I know it. For a fact. This isn't just theory. This is a fact. More people get deals from this channel than any other channel ever existed in the existence of humanity. Make sure you join us, Growth Summit 2023. Here we go. Number 3. Number 4. This one we're working on right now. This was a cold call on an active MLS listing. So the MLS listing was brought to me by Daniel, our incredible videographer and photographer and editor. What would be your title?
Daniel, come say hi real quick.
Yeah, video director. There you go. And anyway, so he's in this office. It's impossible to not look for deals if you're in this office. Anyway, sent me this listing. It wasn't for this property. I asked the all important question: do you have any other properties that need some love, need some renovation? They did. They had this property right here on 78th. And here, we'll pull this up. You're going to notice here what it sold for. Okay, you saw what it sold for. Now let's look at what it was listed for. Guys, this is just proof in the pudding. $345. Okay. And we closed at $250. When I tell you guys, when you're going after on-market deals, you need to get them significantly lower than what they're listed for. It's because it works. Now, what we did is we turned this over to Luke Rotvold. If you don't know him and the Viking boys, they're absolutely incredible. You should be following them. You should do everything that you can for that, and make sure that make sure that you're following. Sorry, somebody just came in the door. Anyway, on 78th, they're going to clean it up. We're going to put it on the market. And what was the estimated profit on that, Matt? Let's put it on there. That one's going right now, 40 to 50.
So that was an example of they didn't want to sell the property that you called on,
right?
But you asked, like you coach people to do, to ask if they have anything else.
Yep.
And they had that.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep. Exactly. All right, let's go to the 5th and last case study, and then we'll open up this show. Here we go. Avenida Kino.
Yeah.
Here we go. Cold call. This was the dead list, guys. So what happens is when people tell us no, they don't want to sell their property, or they say yes, they do want to sell the property, but then they go, well, we're not going to sell it now. We decided not to. It goes into our dead list. We obviously follow up with this list every 6 months. Write that down. If somebody tells you they want to sell their property and then they decide to change their mind, you need to be reaching out to them every 6 months. All right. He and his ex-wife won the house in a divorce. She never changed the mortgage into her name. She stopped making payments on the home. Yeah, this is a pre-foreclosure. He won the house back. Oh, no, that's right. He won the house back because the loan was in his name. She stopped making payments, so the judge gave him the house back. And we were able to get that deal. It was really interesting. So at the time, we talked to her. She didn't want to sell, but she wasn't making payments. So we ended up talking to him, and he was like, yeah, she's not making payments. So the judge is going to give me back the property. So it took a little bit of time. But once we were able to revive it, a month later we closed and we made $154,000. Let's take a look at this one. Ooh. On that deal. We're talking massive deals, guys. Boom. Massive deals. There it is. You can see it right there. $299 sold for $6,750. We sold it for $224. Somebody put it on the market. We sold it to a fix and flipper. They put it on at $310 and ended up selling for $299. That's real tight numbers there. I think he probably lost money on that deal with the turn of the market. So, or maybe broke even on it. I always like when they make a lot of money, but the market turned. They did a great job in that remodel. So that's it. There's the 5 case studies, guys. Those are the lists that are working. Those are the lists that will always work.
Yep.
And go ahead.
What I was going to say, what I took away from this is, because people ask all the time, Brent, which list works the best? And what I took away from this, going back to how you open, work works. Mm-hmm. Most of these lists work when you work them.
Yep.
Right. Most of these tactics, cold call, text message, work when you work it, right? Yeah.
You got to have a backbone and then bolt on the, whatever alternative strategies you come up with. I want to make just a note on a couple of things, right? Going through killer deals, obviously. One of them was the question of why wholesale, like for example, a sub 2 deal, right? That
or creative finance.
Yeah, creative financing deal.
Yep.
During the first year, you said it, right? Fall in love with the mundane. Mm-hmm. During the first year, stack up your cash, think about $15,000. How long would it take you, right? Or how many deals you have to actually put together to get $15,000 in one lump sum, right?
You
But if
mean cash
wholesale-
flow, like monthly cash flow
yeah.
from these things?
So it's gonna. I mean, it's a good long term strategy and it adds up, right? But during that first year, when we're just piling stuff on and trying to really get some traction on and grease on the wheels for this thing to take off, monetize, right? Do not don't get caught up in the shiny object. I mean, I see it time and time again. New students, they're into it 3-4 months into wholesaling, then they see a good deal, they don't want to come in and then flip it. But the pockets are not deep enough yet. So
build a big, heavy, healthy bank account. And let me just say one more thing before we crack this show open about rental properties. People talk about appreciation, and I get it. I mean, that's how you build wealth, is appreciation. There's areas that don't appreciate very high. So number one, if you're going to buy something in an area that's going to appreciate. It's number one. There has to be economic centers. There's got to be entertainment. There's got to be growth. There has to be potential there, right? Or there's just not going to be appreciation. I mean, only 9% of the country is actually occupied, right? 9%. That's crazy. So it's not a crazy amount. But of that 9%, there's a 1 to 2% that's really, 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 really popular.
That's it?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So why not buy in those areas that humans are going to be at for a long time? Not only that, but think about this. People go, oh, well, appreciation. I bought this for $150 and now it's worth $350. Yeah. If it was totally renovated, guess what happens every 10 years, guys? Styles change. Have you seen a flip from 2012 or 2013?
Yeah. How many times do you walk into a house and it's got those beautiful browns?
People will now totally remodel properties that were flipped 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to get top dollar for a property, you have to completely renovate it. So if you have a rental property that you're getting $500 a month, let's say it's a good one, $500 a month in passive cash flow, that's $6,000.
Yeah.
On average, you're going to spend $3,000 of that on just maintenance. Okay. Yeah. So now you got $3,000. All right. Over 10 years is $30,000. Okay. And then if you want top dollar for that property, guess what you have to do? You have to go and spend all of that money and more to be able to renovate that property to bring it up to the highest standards. We're talking $40 a square foot when 10 years ago it was $20 a square foot. What's it going to be in 10 years from now? So when you look at the cash on cash return, you have to put a significant amount of money into these properties to get top dollar. And if you're not buying in appreciating areas, then you're literally losing money every time you buy a rental property.
Well,
do people not understand that? Yeah. It took me a long time to really understand that.
I think it's because it's easy to fall in love with the shiny object. The possibility of owning, and having these things just give us money on a monthly. But also, during the first couple of years, if you're building a business, have you ever done that before, right? Started to launch your own thing. It's difficult. During the first couple of years, if you get a wrench thrown at you in the way of an AC unit breaking down, or
how about a tenant not paying?
Yeah, tenant not paying, or deferments on rent, or you name it.
How about
a
pandemic?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
not that happens often, but I mean, people
solidify the base and then build from that. But,
guys, build a business. Yeah. Build a business of finding discounted properties, selling it to other people that have different strategies. Keep all the money and be like. There's these good memes where it's it's like a brain and it's like a small brain and then it's a big brain and it's like a huge brain and then it's like this huge universe brain. That's wholesaling. That's the wholesaling business.
Yeah.
No risk. Unbelievable profits, and you could build a huge cash flowing business that you don't have to work in.
Yeah. And it's all mundane.
Let's go, baby. I love you guys. Welcome to Wholesaling Inc. Live. I am Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People, joined by the incredible Rafael Cortez, Mike Mahoney. Alejandra is picking out the comments section in her office back there. We are so excited. We're here for 4 things. One, obviously giving you the tools and tactics to implement into your business so that you can start getting deals right away. Number 2 is we want to make sure that we answer all the questions that you have. Number 3 is we want to celebrate your successes. We want to ring this victory bell. I don't care if you've called a property owner for the first time or just wrote down your first ugly house in your driving for dollars list or just closed a 6-figure deal. We want to celebrate you. And the 4th, obviously, is use the comments section as a networking opportunity. Squad up with people. Put in the comments section where you are doing business, what you're looking for, all of those things that you can find people that are also doing this business, because the fact is most people have no idea what wholesaling real estate is.
Yeah.
And it's really critical that you surround yourself with people doing this business. So let's crack this thing open. Go ahead, Alejandro. Christopher, all right, my man. Hey, Brent, are you assigning these or double closing? These are awesome spreads. So 2 out of those 5 were assignments, and then 3 of them were we closed, and then we did a double close, or we closed it, cleaned it up a little bit, and kind of wholetailed it, but we didn't put it on the market. We just put it to our actual cash buyer database. So I consider it wholesaling in my mind, because it wasn't like on the market, it was off the market, and so it was still going to our cash buyers, but it wasn't like an assignment, which people typically correlate with wholesaling. Wholesaling, in my mind, is just the art of finding discounted properties. And so I suggest for the first 12 months, until you build up your bank account, you assign everything so that you don't, because if you don't have the cash to close on it, and or you want to keep as much profits as possible and not have to split a lot with somebody that can close on it for you, then just assign it. Go ahead. Sorry about
The none of them were sold on the MLS.
No.
Right? None of them. Okay. Just clarifying.
Nope. Right to our direct database.
Yeah.
Great question.
Nice.
Vicente, all right. How should I go into my offer presentations? I love this. Listen, it's powerful. We're going to be really hitting offer presentations at this Growth Summit 2023 with the best of the best. Todd Toback, Ryan Thornton, my acquisition manager. I think they're the best in the business. They're going to really be breaking down the psychology of those offer presentations. But remember this, Vicente. Your offer, like true offer presentations, should just be a formality of signing the purchase agreement if you did all the upfront work first. You pre-qualified them. You know their timeline. You know their price, right? You've already pulled out the price from them. You've got a really good idea on the price. So it's really, you're just going there to get the contract signed, but you're just getting, when you go to that, and you're getting all those upfront agreements, right, Vicente? Hey, Sue, when I come out this afternoon, I'm real excited about our appointment. As long as everything looks good on the agreement with the price and the terms, and you don't have any questions, is there anything stopping us from moving forward and getting the agreement signed today? And then if there's objections, then obviously you know how you know what those objections are before you get there, and that's really important. Okay. And then when you get when you get to the house, it's simply going over what is their goal. You told me this is your goal. This is how we're going to help you achieve that goal. You're not going in there and you're beating them up about their property, making them feel terrible. You know what I mean? Like you're just going through it. You're taking pictures. I mean, there's a process to it. But for the most part, you're doing it up front.
One of the things that really, really helps is coming in with a solution-based mentality, right? Mm-hmm. And I know we hit that over the head all the time, but it's true. It's a lot of times things are they're gonna change. They're not gonna necessarily fit the script, right? Because lives are dynamic. But if you go in there with a solution-based mentality, and then you're thinking, how can I serve this person, as opposed to how can I get through the script and hit all the bullet points, your conversation really becomes organic. So it's important to understand that we use the scripts, we use the presentations, we use all of that. But at the end of the day, you want to have that human connection with them, and then come in with a solution-based mentality, because that's going to give you the closing. Really, it's really what it does. So
awesome. Joe, seller told me that if he were to sell his house, how is he going to buy a new house with a higher interest rate? He's interested in selling, but didn't want to sell for that reason. What do I tell him? I mean, that's reality. You're really talking to, in my experience, somebody that is not truly motivated. You can if they need to loosen up some equity, they can't refinance it. They can't take care of the property anymore. Then suggest that maybe you rent until the interest rates come down. Have you thought about getting into a really great area that maybe you couldn't buy a house, but you can rent for a bit, and then wait till interest rates start coming down, and then decide if you want to buy at that point? Like, why does he have to buy a property? I mean, in your first couple years, especially in this market, it's not going to appreciate. Not only that, but if you get a new loan, all of your payment is going towards the interest on that. You pay very little principal down. So why don't we solve this problem first of your property, get you your cash, and then, get you into a good rental situation for a while. And then, when everything settles down, then you go out and you find a really great deal. That's usually what it is. I mean, typically, Joe, if I just being honest, yeah. Would you call people? No, I suggest you don't call people in the do not call list. People do, but I suggest you don't. 80% of skip, Tracy, coming back DNC, seeing the same trend. Yes. If so, what are you doing to move around this potential barrier? We text them. TCPA compliant texting through launch control. We don't do direct mail in Phoenix. It's just too expensive. Launch control now, Matt, is rhinotexting.com. So let's switch that up. 3-parter. Gordon, since we didn't get time to answer last Saturday in 3 parts, part 1, per your part-time schedule you talked about a few weeks back, I'm finding that my current routine is not finding enough.
Part 2.
But enough what? But after I skip trace them and remove old DNCs, duplicates, and numbers already called in the past, I'm only getting about 35 leads. Yeah, open it up. Open up your market there. What other activities should I be doing for 5 hours a week for this? Drive for dollars, cold call, FSBOs from Zillow, what? Yeah, I love all that, Gordon. You can call on market deals that are really rough and talk to the agents and see what's going on with that seller. If they are open to, if they really need to sell that property as opposed to want. The want in this market doesn't work. They want these high prices, but they're not going to get them. So you can start calling agents for sure on ugly properties. You could text those properties. And yeah, you call the for sale by owners. Absolutely.
If you hit the for sale by owners, treat them as MLS leads. I mean, you still have to drive them down. A lot of times they've been trying to sell the property by themselves for a while. Frustration has accumulated. More often than not, if you call for sale by owner that's been on the market for maybe a week or so, they're not going to be highly motivated. So just keep that in mind too, because those calls can take some time, and motivation goes a long way when they've been sitting there for a while. Leads.
Guys, we filter through the DNC and still you saw those deals. They're still there. Arturo, guys, I've been chasing foreclosures. I have had 4 agreements, but no closings. Should I be going for foreclosures? Well, obviously you're finding a great list of people that want to sell. You're just getting them at the wrong price, Arturo. The only reason you haven't closed those is because you're buying them too high.
Yeah.
Do you see any other reason why? I mean, unless they ghost you and they disappear and they're not really working with you, then it's a communication issue that you have with those property owners. But guys, every property sells at the right price. Every single property will sell at the right price. There is a but for every seat. So if you can't sell your deals, it's because you're too high. I had a student text last week. He sent me a list of 4 deals in our market. Raph, if I were to, it hurt me that somebody was in our market locking up properties at such high prices, like bananas prices, like Zillow and above prices on totally destroyed properties.
Oh, come on.
Because they were running comps within a mile.
Yeah.
You can't run comps within a mile. You got to run comps unless you're rural, but you got to run comps that are in that specific zip code. I mean, specific area. Yeah. In the neighborhood first, and then you expand, But it was heartbreaking that there are property owners out there that have real distress and have real rough, shitty looking properties that have these expectations because people just throw out whatever and they try to sell these deals. Not only that, they don't cancel the deals after the inspection period. They just keep it on. Not only that, they don't put earnest money deposit down.
Yeah.
Not only that, they've got these properties open, and some of them even put memorandums of contracts on these properties at super high prices, so it clouds the title. So when we come along with a reasonable price that'll cause it to sell, they want to negotiate and get 10 grand to release that memorandum of contract. I'm not taking it anymore. I've got my attorneys on it for real. I'm gonna wipe that out of this market. I'm telling you.
Arturo's got he's got to log it down low.
I will spend $250,000. I'll spend $500,000 getting these people out of here. For real.
Got to log it down lower. Make sure they have the equity to go that low.
One thing about pre-foreclosures, timing is a critical component of that. Find out wherever your market is. Find out when those pre-foreclosure notices are going out. For example, in Maricopa County, they go out at 8 a.m. every day, right? So they'll start publishing. If you go to the website, if you go to get tapped in to where they release the info, you can get that as they're coming out. So if you hit them, I mean, a lot of times the properties here, they will go, they'll get published. There's somebody at the door 15 minutes later, 20 minutes later, people just waiting to go door knock. So if nobody's doing that in your market, and then you show up and you have this information that perhaps, sometimes they haven't even gotten yet. I mean, you're ahead of the game there. So keep that in mind.
Nate, do I need a Google Voice number for hand dialing? Also, how many leads should I get for driving for dollars per week? Thank you. Great question, Nate. Yeah, I think so. If you can get a Google Voice number that has the area code of the area that you're calling, for sure. I always like that because then when people are calling you back, it's not just calling you on your number, so you have an idea of why they're calling you back. And driving for dollars as much as possible. I mean, you should shoot for 100 a week at least. Tuyan, have you wholesaled in Minnesota, and is it a good market in Minneapolis? It's a phenomenal market in Minneapolis. I haven't, but I've got a couple incredible rhinos out there that are doing really good business. Minneapolis has a great price point, and even better, properties are old. I don't know how people were like in the late 1800s in Minneapolis. That's crazy. It had to have been so cold. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but there's a lot of really, really good potential there. Absolutely. Great market. JF, what criteria do you use to determine which pre-foreclosure leads to work? Years of ownership, value, etc. Call all of them. There's just not a lot of them. You can go through a pre-foreclosure list in the first hour of your week. Maybe the first hour of the day each day, depending on how big your market is, but I would call all of them. Nothing is more rewarding than stopping a foreclosure for somebody. I'm telling you, and we don't do a lot because the fact is 90%, you can look it up, Google it, 90% of people get loan modifications because the banks do not want to foreclose. It's really interesting. Like when we went through it, Mike, in 2008, 9, 10, the banks didn't know. They didn't have the systems in place to do loan modifications, to do short sales, to do these type of things. And they just had to foreclose because they didn't have it. But over the last, 10, 12, 14 years, they've really done a great job with property owners to get them in a position where they don't foreclose.
Way better.
Way better. So it's like, everybody thinks that pre-foreclosure, like everybody goes, oh, I understand. Because people are going to lose their house because they can't afford it. That's like the hottest lead. It's not. I mean, ugly houses are the hottest lead.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of pre-foreclosures that are in great shape. They can put it right on the market or get a loan modification. Boom, it's done.
Pre-foreclosures is not high on lists you go after.
But it's at the very bottom. Yeah. We still go after.
It's one of the first lists that people think about when they're new.
It's because it's been pounded into our brain over the last 50 years of real estate investing training.
Yep.
Every single book that you have on real estate investing has pre-foreclosures.
Put foreclosure list on the back burner. Hit up the other list first.
Every time we do a video on pre-foreclosures or even put pre-foreclosures in our title here on this thing, it goes bananas.
But it's not.
It goes absolutely bananas.
It's not one of the better lists.
It's
usually.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, again, that on pre-foreclosures, there's a few key elements. One of them is the timing. The timing is crucial. Like either you get the information right out of the gate, and then you go door knock and see that person face to face,
Mhm.
that'll increase the conversion rate. Other than that, like everybody is hitting those lists.
I love this
everybody.
question. Spirit minded. Well, good thing we have a quadruple analytical standing next to me. His name's Rafael Cortez. So, as an analytical personality, what is the best strategy to get over analysis paralysis, Raf?
Get comfortable to 80%, whatever 80% looks like for you, right? And
Great advice.
You're going to be looking.
What does
for,
that mean? What do you mean 80%?
60%.
So yeah, I mean 60. No, so whatever you're trying to learn, whatever you're trying to theorize. I mean, a lot of times when overly analytical profiles tend to want to have everything perfect before taking action. Just build something to 70%, 80%. Get to a point where you say, okay, cool, I understand 70% of this thing. I'm just gonna go, go forth and get some action and execute. Right. That's really how you break into it. And then as you go through the motions, you're gonna learn the other 30%. But then you have people around you. You have some context behind it too, not just theory. So. Whatever you're doing, build it up to 70%, 80% of tops, and then just pull the trigger on it.
Working works. We started the show with this. If you're just joining us, working works. So get the question all the time. What's working right now? Working works. All right. Thinking doesn't work. Yeah. Voyeurism doesn't work.
Yeah.
Trying to be overeducated doesn't work. Working works. I have a big win on deal last Wednesday and have another deal closing this Friday. Ugly houses, big checks. Christopher, this is a TTP Rhino right here. This is a Wholesaling Inc. Rhino. Come on. Oh, I like that graphic.
Oh.
All right, Matt.
You know what I like about
Matt, you wizard.
So for analyticals, like out of this book I just saw, this the one thing.
Yep.
So they talk about what's the one thing that if you just do that right, everything else will fall into place. So when you what's the one thing? Is it quality conversations?
It's conversations and offers. I mean, it's two, but I mean they go hand in hand. With conversations, you give offers.
Cool.
You know what I mean? So that's what it comes down to. It should be tattooed on your forearm, right here. Conversations and offers. It's awesome. People will love it. People will be like, "What is that?" You're like, "Yeah, it's to keep me focused." All right. So all you analyticals out there, go get a tattoo.
My money making tat.
That's it. Darian went part-time at my factory job last week, calling 22 hours every week, now 6 hours a day, 6 hours today, Boom. 2.5 in, doing it virtually from Green Bay, Wisconsin, in Knoxville, Tennessee. Can I get some?
Like that.
I was about to ask, Chandra.
Look at this.
I was about to ask. I've been real. This thing's been real. There's been a quiet show besides my bombastic presentation here. We need this bell. We need the victory bell. I love it. Congratulations, Darren. You are going to win. Conversations and offers. Conversations and offers. I go through a list twice, Nate. Nate asks, how many times do you call through a list before switching to a different list twice? Go through it twice. Hey guys, real quick, because I had this conversation on the support call with the Rhinos last night. Right now, what I'd like you to try, every person you talk to, I want you to give an offer to. Now, obviously, I want you to pull out the price from them, right? And really kind of try your best, right? They go, you ask somebody if they would consider an offer in their property, and there's only 6 responses that they give you, right? And one of those 6 responses is, how much will you give me? Well, you called me. How much will you give me? Well, this is how you respond. Well, the condition of the property is really important, and I want to give you the best offer that I can. So can you tell me what remodeling have you done to the kitchen and bathrooms in the last 5 years? This sets you up to be able to hit them with, and then you go, okay, if I could get you the perfect price for this property, are you ready to move forward? Would you be ready to get the process started and get your money in about 30 days? And they go, yes. And you go, okay, great. What's the price? What's the right price? And they go, well, you tell me. That's when I want you guys. This is it. Secret sauce here. All right. Go into here. Okay. Let's just pull this up right here, Matt. This will be fine. You go into Zillow. Okay. As you're talking, as they're telling you all about their property, gives you the opportunity. And if you're using a dialer, it's right there. You can click it and put it right there. If not, copy and paste the address, put it right in. See this Zestimate number right here? See this Zestimate? If it is, I want you to start throwing it out. If it is above 250,000, you offer them 50%. If it's between, do we have that graphic, Matt? I know it's a little bit, okay, right here, beautiful. If it's between 249, 999, and 100, you offer 35%. And then if it's under, can we remove that comment real quick? There we go. And if it is 100,000 or less, you offer 10%. But guys, listen, don't do this for beautiful properties. Do this for the properties that need renovation. Don't just throw out 50% to somebody that has pride of ownership in their property. Don't do it. Just be like, you know what? It sounds like your property is incredible. I'm really looking for something that needs a lot of love. So do you have anything else that needs a lot of renovation that you think would be a better deal for us? And then they give you something, or they tell you no. And you go, do you have any pieces of land maybe you want to get rid of? No. Okay, great. And then you move on. But now you're not just sitting there messing around thinking this person is a really solid lead. You're disqualifying right off the bat. You're throwing out offers. Just try it. Just try it and come back and tell me what's going on. These are plays that work. I'm telling you, I'm giving you the plays that work. And that's what we really need to focus on. What are the plays that actually work in our business? I remember when I first started cold calling. And I wanted to test out what to say, right? I was building the script and I kept saying that I'm a local investor. I'm a local investor. I'm a local investor. And it caused a lot of friction. Mm-hmm. It caused a lot of friction because when people hear investor, they think, oh, this is a shark.
Yeah.
This is somebody that is just low emotion. It's all about the numbers. They're just going to come in. They're going to gut me on price. It's going to be terrible. I switched that to I'm a local home buyer. Mm-hmm. No friction. 10 times better conversations. These are plays that work. Run the plays that work. I'm just telling you. That's what I'm talking about. When you are in the process, when you're taking action, when you are working, then you're going to have different responses and you're going to be able to document those responses so that you know every time something comes up in your business, you can go to the plays that work. And then all of a sudden it's going to build unbelievable confidence and it's going to keep the momentum. The reason people kind of slow down their momentum is in the beginning, we're very optimistic. And then we run into these challenges. We don't document them. And then we feel like we're on our back foot all the time. And we feel awkward. And we don't have the confidence. And then self-doubt creeps in. Distraction creeps in. Disappointment creeps in. And then all of a sudden, it paralyzes us from going out there and actually doing our job. Doing what we are supposed to do. Going and finding the best discounted property in the marketplace. Run the plays that work.
100% agree. One pivot that we started doing, and we're seeing an impact on the lead generation, like on the leads that we're getting through. It's adding, how we always wait to see if they have more properties?
Yep.
Like, okay, cool. If they say no, then, okay, do you have any other properties? We started, because they would say no and then just hang up the phone.
Yeah.
So we started just moving that up to the beginning part of the script.
Yeah.
So we'll open up, look, hey, John, this is Raphael and whatnot. I'm calling about the property, this and that, right? The next thing, after they open it up, we go into, I'm calling to see if you want an offer on this. We also buy commercial, multifamily and land, but I'm calling you about this one right now. So just planting the seed before they even shut it down.
I would be interested.
Simple pivot.
I would be interested to test out. Hey, listen, I wanted to give you a call. I'm interested in buying a property in your area. I saw that you own a property on Camelback, but I'm not actually calling about that property. I wanted to see if you had any other properties that you would consider an offer on. See if you could throw them off a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Interesting.
So we're seeing leads come in on multifamily on land. I'm sorry, not commercial. We haven't gotten any multifamily leads that way yet, but we just rolled it out. So
awesome.
Keep it posted.
Is that it?
No, there we go.
Oh. Chrisleen. When you do comps and properties nearby is far from the features the house you has. Wow. Okay. Do you go beyond 1 mile or you will use nearby sold properties regardless of the difference of No, I'm looking for I understand this. Okay, I'll decipher this as well as I can. So in the neighborhood, you want to see, okay, what's going on? What's the average price per square foot in the neighborhood? That's a pretty good indication. If your property is way bigger and it's this only works if your property's smaller. If your property's bigger, it doesn't work. If your property is like an outlier in the neighborhood, it's not going to work. You're going to have to go out and see what's going on, and you're going to have to take a significant reduction in the price per square foot the bigger the properties get. Now, that might sound wildly confusing, but I would just use the Zestimate and then start working backwards easily, like we just discussed. But yeah, you want to find in that neighborhood first. What's going on? Did a builder build a lot of those houses, and are they very similar in the quality, construction, design, and age that they built those properties? That's something that's good to know. But if it is, there should be some comps that are pretty close in square footage. Now, if it's not, if they're built a long time ago and they're all over the place in regards to size, then you're going to want to stay in an area that doesn't cross any major roads first and then expand to a half mile second. And guys, we have an incredible comping video that you can watch on this channel. Just put in Brent Daniels comping and it'll pull up. Not now, after the show. Caleb, Brent, I have to say, since I started wholesaling in December 2021, you have helped my team and I closed 47 deals to date. It works if you put the effort in. Caleb, you just made my week, bro. There we go. Come on.
47. Outstanding.
Run the plays that work, Caleb. I'm telling you. Listen, I'll give you all the plays. You just got to implement them. And I'm giving you the top 10 plays at the Growth Summit in April 15th and 16th. It's going to blow your face off. Everybody that's going to be at that Growth Summit is going to be 90 days to 6 months ahead of everybody else that's not. And we have 300 seats. So those 300 people are going to be 6 months ahead of everybody else by just going to this Growth Summit. And I'm not just being sensational here. I'm being absolutely dead set serious. That is the whole goal of the Growth Summit. Grow people faster. We got 300. So we don't even have 300 seats left. We got like half that. So I would get in there. We got early bird special. Everybody needs to be there. You need to tell everybody about it. If you care about people in this business, you need to get them there. Right? Yeah. Okay. Kasim, how would you deal with a deal where a seller is so eager to sell and is willing to do a novation where we just list as is, but they have a relative that lives in the property that won't give access? Well, Kasim, I feel you, bro. I mean, this is just what it is. I would have a conversation with that relative. Oftentimes what happens is that relative doesn't have income and they're just squatting essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so you have to get past that. You have to have that conversation with them. And if they won't give access, then you might have to have the family member evict them. It's not pretty.
That's a tough
situation. But how inappropriate is it for your family member to just be living in your property, not paying anything, not willing? Well, maybe they're paying something, but just not giving access, not letting you take this burden off your shoulders. They're just going to say, no, I'm not going to give access. It's ridiculous. It's like that movie Step Brothers where they're trying to sell the mom and dad's house and they're just, dressing up and being crazy all the time. Like they're dead on the floor or whatever. I mean, that's what it feels like. So I would dig deep. I would go, Kasim, I would go have a conversation with whoever the tenant is and just see what's going on. Maybe they're just in a tough time right now. Maybe they just need a few grand to get on their feet. So you do a cash for keys type of situation. This happens a lot, but you can solve that problem. Brian, celebrating massive imperfect action, made 148 calls Monday, got 2 leads.
Let's go.
Run the plays that work. Come on, Brian. Man, that feels good. Woo. That is awesome, Brian. So pumped for you. Keep it going. Every single day.
Again.
Yeah. Hey, Zeus, I locked up a deal a little too high. What's a good way to go about this conversation with the seller? Thanks, guys. Listen, it just depends. It depends on if you locked it up too high because you didn't think the condition was as bad as it is. That's a very easy conversation. I didn't realize X, Y, Z was going on with the property. If you really want to get gangster with it, I would hire a full-blown home inspector to go in there, put together a whole report. It's a bloodbath, but you give that to them and say, listen, this is a lot more than I thought it was. We need to get a price reduction. Or you can just simply say, guys, I am sorry. I didn't do the numbers right. I thought that the properties that I was basing my offer on were comparable, and they're just not. And these are the reason why. And we need to go here. Or so there's 3 ways. 4 is you can just say, hey, listen, I need to cancel. Where can I send this cancellation? And they go, what? What's going on? And you go, well, we actually, the price is too high for where we need to be at. We would have to, I can close on this, but we'd have to be at this price. So there's a few different methods for that. Good question.
The market is crazy all over the place too. So that's some also
the market shifted.
Yeah, you can throw into the conversation.
Yes.
That's something that everybody can relate to, right? And it's outside of, and I don't know, maybe when you locked it, the numbers made sense, and then it shifted since then. So
construction costs have gone up.
Yeah.
The market has
Supply and
taken a
demand.
hit. Interest rates have gone up. We need to adjust for that. We'd love to work with you, but we need to adjust the price here.
Yeah.
Yep. Higher gaming. How do you prevent an investor from waiting until your contract with the seller expires and then coming in and stealing the deal out from under you? Well, if your contract expires, that means that you locked it up too high and you didn't do anything. You didn't provide any value to the seller. You should lose that deal. So get the deal sold. Listen, I am telling you, you don't have to be a great salesman to sell cocaine. Right?
Yeah.
So really great. It's the same analogy here. Not condoning any kind of drug use here, but honestly, when you have a really smoking hot deal, it will sell instantly. Instantly. If you can't sell it within your time, within 30 days, you didn't do the job right. And that's fine. You can have a fixed mindset about that and really let it affect you. Or you could have a growth mindset about it where you go, okay, you know what? I made a mistake here. I'm not going to make it again. I'm going to get this seller out of here because they don't want to reduce the price on this, and I can't sell it. So I'm going to get out of there. I'm going to wash my hands clean. I'm going to start over, and I'm going to make sure that my numbers are stronger.
Well, I think it also ties up right into the previous question, right? Like, what can you do? Come in and then renegotiate the price point if you have to. It's going to be a price thing if you can't move it, right?
Yeah.
Or it's either one of those crazy properties that's out in the middle of nowhere and there's no demand for it.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I think
the other thing here is if you only have one investor and they're kind of like slippery and they're like, I'll just wait until you have to cancel. I'm your only guy. Then you have an issue. But if you have 15 people that want that deal, you don't care about the jerk. You don't care about the person that's trying to take advantage. You don't do business with them. And in the beginning, it's kind of hard to figure out who's who. That's why you squat up. That's why you find incredible people in your marketplace that you can squat up with so that they can keep you away from the snakes. Sneaky snakes.
If you got a great deal, even if you've just got one cash buyer,
Yep.
This day and age, it's real easy to find all the other, active cash buyers in the area and get that thing sold.
Yeah, if you need help with that, wholesalinginc.com. Make sure that you sign up for the Academy in there. We have incredible tools in the Academy. We've got a cash buyer pack, Higher Gaming, and that'll show you how to find the top 100 buyers. Plus, we have a bunch of free courses and downloads and everything. It's absolutely incredible. Make sure that you go to wholesalinginc.com, and then we'll prompt you to get there. Last question. T. Will, when you say 200 contacts equals one deal, is a contact anyone who at least answers and could say F off? A contact is somebody when you speak to the actual property owner. So when you talk to the property owner, hi, I'm looking for Bob. Yeah, this is Bob, right? Yeah, what? What do you want? Counts. Every time you talk to an agent, counts. Easy. 200 conversations equals one deal. Science, baby. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Again, Play the plays that work. Run the plays that work, right? Run the play. Document what is working in your business and stick with that. And if you want to know the top 10 lead generation plays that are working right now, I invite you to the Growth Summit in Phoenix. It's going to be absolutely incredible. We're going to have 300 of the top wholesalers from around the country sharing, collaborating, learning, growing, and I'm going to give you the top 10. And that's at growthsummit2023.com. Tell everybody about it. Be there. It's going to be absolutely bananas. And if you're in the Rhino Tribe, obviously you get in for free. So if you're interested in joining the Rhino Tribe before that and starting, and you're on the fence about it, make sure that you do. And you get VIP access and everything else. And that is at wholesalinginc.com as well. We love you guys. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Behalf of myself and Rafael, Alejandra, Mike, Matt, and Daniel. We love you guys. Remember, keep your house clean, right? Your actual house and this house, right? Protect your health and increase your value to the world, and you'll live an incredible life. Love you guys. See you next week.